Hello, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to talk about the top 3 signs that your fertility is struggling. Because good or bad fertility leaves clues. And if your stomach is always hurting, if you are always dealing with like gas or bloating or constipation, if your skin is bad, if you're not hungry enough, if you're always hungry for certain things, these are all signs that some of the root cause areas in your body are going to get in the way of you getting and staying pregnant. Certainly, if you have found yourself in an unexplained fertility situation, I'm sure that there are signs that your body is giving you pointing to where you need to do the work. And so in this video, I'm going to talk about those 3 signs that you need to pay attention to and also how you can bring resolve to those areas. But as always, I'm Bianca. I'm a fertility diet and lifestyle coach, professionally trained chef, and certified holistic nutritionist. And I help people get and stay pregnant, and I would love to do the same for you. So the first place that is so important as far as if there are issues in that place that are pointing to fertility issues, and that is your digestive system. If you are dealing with digestive issues consistently, so they're chronic, they happen all the time, every time you eat, it has nothing to do with certain foods. It's just like when you eat, things happen in terms of your digestive area. This points to inflammation, but also nutrient absorption. And these are 2 very important things. I always say that inflammation is the locked door and your fertility is on the other side and you do not have the key unless you figure out what is going on and what is causing the inflammation. And often for people, it is something that is going on in their digestive system. And so issues in this area need to be resolved and need to be addressed with meaning, and you need to see improvement in those areas because as an extension of that, you will see improvement in ovulation, implantation, period. So another sign that things are going good. And again, when people think of digestive issues, they think of gas, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, and those are absolutely things that we need to address. However, other things could be food intolerances. If a food intolerance has just shown up, like all of a sudden you can't eat this thing, or all of a sudden you can't eat this thing and you've been eating it forever, but now you can't, that also points to something going on in the digestive system. For instance, if you start reacting to things like bone broth, even some berries, it could be a histamine response. And you need to get that histamine response understood and managed before you go into trying. Now, I always say this, there are people that get pregnant through all of these conditions every single day. That being said, if you are facing an infertility situation, I don't actually believe in infertility, I believe in fertility challenges, but if you are in that position and you are facing some of these issues chronically, you have to look at that first. And you have to do that before you start trying to conceive once more, before you do IVF, before you do IUI, because especially in the case of IVF and even IUI, that could potentially make those symptoms worse because of how it can affect the body and the digestive system and all of that. And so how you eat matters when it comes to your digestive system. Often we hear people say, well, I take a probiotic and I take this and I take that. But it's like, what are you doing? Taking things in terms of supplements and whatnot is fantastic. I love supplements. I make no secret of that. That being said, if you are just taking supplements, but you haven't made any changes to how you eat, that is going to be 1 step forward, 2 steps back. How you eat really matters when it comes to your digestive system. Are you always eating standing up in a super stressed situation? Are you eating super fast? Are you eating lots of processed foods with an absence of whole foods? All of those things are going to stack up and cause you grief with your digestive system. And one thing about digestive issues is it's like really uncomfortable to just exist with a stomach ache where you're sort of doubled over, with gas, with constipation. I've had constipation once in my adult life and it was the worst. And I literally said to myself, I can't believe people deal with this every day. And so again, if you are struggling with these things, you have to work to resolve them first through supplementation, through habits, through diet changes. Because once you unlock what's going on there, that closed and locked door of inflammation where your fertility is on the other side, you now have a key. Often people in life just have skin issues. You have eczema, you have psoriasis, maybe you have acne, but those are often dismissed and not really pointed toward there being a fertility issue. It's so rare that I have clients come in and they'll say, oh, I have eczema or I have psoriasis. And I'm like, well, has this been addressed with your fertility clinic or your endocrine specialist? And they'll say, well, no, it wasn't mentioned at all, which is nuts to me, because skin issues can point to inflammation in the body, especially with things like eczema and psoriasis, which are inflammatory conditions. Also, things like eczema and psoriasis also point to deficiencies, like things like zinc, selenium, also having vitamin D deficiency. And so if you are having skin stuff going on, it is trying to tell you something. If you have things like I said, eczema, psoriasis, but especially if you have acne on your jawline or chin, that points to hormonal imbalances. And so if you have hormonal imbalances, estrogen and progesterone are off, which will trickle down to other hormones too, then we have to go to work at resolving those hormonal imbalance, using our skin as sort of a guidepost to how well we're doing, and then we go into the trying to conceive journey. Also, when you have acne, especially cystic acne, that can point to something like PCOS. There's many people that walk around with cystic acne, but they don't ever really get the knowledge and the information that maybe this is also speaking to a hormonal imbalance, a high androgen count, like in something like PCOS. And so understanding that skin issues point to liver issues. And what I mean by that is your liver is where hormones are made, they are processed, they are balanced. And if your liver is congested, it is not optimized, is not functioning properly because you're taking a lot of medication, you eat a lot of processed foods, you drink a lot, you're heavily stressed, you eat a lot of foods that are not serving liver detox, they're actually bogging it down, this is going to show up in your skin. And if you, again, use your skin as kind of a guidepost of like, okay, I'm doing good, I'm not doing good, then you can, again, it's the clue and the signal that you can say, well, my hormones appear to be balanced. If you are always getting like intense acne, intense skin flare-ups from ovulation to your period and like within the PMS timeframe, that is pointing to hormonal issues. PMS is something that has been incredibly normalized, but it is not normal. Like for you to have debilitating acne, I was talking to a client and she had cystic acne so bad on her chin that she could barely open her mouth sometimes. But yet she was still being encouraged to do IVF and to do IUI and to continue with her fertility treatments. And it's like, whoa, we got to pause because there's something going on with your hormonal system that IVF and IUI are not going to be able to circumvent. And so you have to be looking at these signs as little clues that your fertility is leaving you, saying like, babes, all is not well. Fix that, then go into trying to conceive. It will save you so much pain, heartbreak, questioning, and all of that. And so when it comes to your liver, focusing on good fats is important because good fats help with the processing, the managing, the creation of hormones. Hormonal balance is very much rooted in good fats, but you also want to alleviate the pressure on your liver. So are you using a lot of fragrance? Fragrance has got to go. It's so incredible to me that you'll go to fertility clinics and they are fragrance-free environments, but they don't mention to you that you should probably be living a fragrance-free life. So remove things like fragrance, remove things like processed foods, add in things like healthy fats, add in things like high antioxidant foods, start doing things like castor oil packs. And that is where you are going to see your liver start to work better for itself and your skin will improve, but also your skin is the clue that your hormonal balance has improved. You cannot overlook and just push through skin things. Because they're telling you a lot about what's going on internally. So often our skin is a reflection of what's going on. I had eczema from my neck to my ankle, everywhere in between. It literally took over 90% of my body. And when I did the work of balancing my blood sugar, not only did my insulin resistance go away, but my Skin got better. Like I healed my eczema naturally, something I was told I could not do. And the reason that is because balancing my blood sugar had the effect of reversing my insulin resistance. So my body and my liver wasn't having to process any excess sugar, but also because I took the pressure off of my liver, it could then function better, balance my hormones better. Now I'm healed. And so the same thing goes with fertility. If your skin is acting up, if it has always been acting up, and you've always had period problems or really bad PMS, they are connected. One area that I never see connected to fertility function, especially in clinical spaces, is your hunger cues being off. It is not the flex that you think it is to not be hungry in the morning. I don't know how many women especially are like, oh, well, I don't feel like I need to eat till noon. Oh, I don't need to eat until 2 p.m. I am aghast. My mouth is agape when I hear that, especially if they are trying to have a baby and they are struggling in that area. If you wake up and your cortisol is not firing and giving you the right wake up signals of hunger, for nourishment, for hormonal balance, for blood sugar balance, it means that there is a dysregulation going on. Cortisol should be up in the morning so that you wake up, you've got energy, your hunger is rebooted, you're like ready to eat and nourished so that you are energized through the day. If you wake up and you're not hungry, if you wake up and then you exercise and you're still not hungry, that is a sign that you have low cortisol when you are supposed to have high cortisol. That is a sign of cortisol dysregulation. When your cortisol is dysregulated, inflammation is the result. So you've once again locked the door. You can't get to the other side where good fertility exists. And so you need to, I always say this to my clients, the ones who are not hungry when they wake up, we have to train your body to get hungry. And that simply means you have to eat even though you're not hungry. Getting up and eating within an hour of waking over about a 3 to 4 week period, then everything will click on. Your cortisol will be like, oh, we're supposed to eat at that time. Safety is then returned to the body. You are not operating in this high cortisol, high stress environment. And a lot of people think high stress means I'm busy, I'm frenetic, I'm this. High stress can just be my cortisol is off. I'm not hungry when I get up in the morning. Your body is thinking that there is a danger and therefore not putting you in the vulnerable position of having to eat. And that is not good. Fertility requires nourishment. Hormonal balance requires nourishment. It requires calm and safety. And if your body wakes up in the morning and it is not hungry, that is a cue to you that it does not feel safe to eat, to nourish, to stop. And that's a problem. And so you have to address that. And honestly, the best thing you can do is just force yourself to eat. And I'm not saying force yourself to the point of like, oh my God, you're gorged. But having a cup of bone broth in the morning, having a cottage cheese and berry and, seed-based and nut-based granola in the morning. Again, it's small, but it sets the tone for good blood sugar balance. It calms and relaxes the body, ensures its safety, and it allows you to be energized throughout the day. If you don't eat breakfast, you are going to be running on fumes. And I mean, I know that's said a lot in conventional vernacular. However, that is not a good thing. Running on fumes is bad. Why? Because if it's only fumes, there is not enough energy to divert to reproductive health, which is a luxury function. If your body is running on fumes simply to keep you awake, alive, your brain functioning so that you react when you're driving appropriately, it is not going to have anything left for you to have good fertile function. And so you must start to condition and train your body to be hungry in the morning. Now, on the same note of hunger cues, something like being hungry like an hour after you eat your meal, or always craving carbohydrates. That points to an insulin issue, which will affect in terms of your A1C. It can come for you in terms of insulin resistance, prediabetes, type 2 diabetes. So you have to change how you are eating your meals. Simply put, there's a change that has to happen there. And understanding how to balance your blood sugar by virtue of how to eat means that you don't need a prescriptive meal plan. It means that you can sit down at any table where food is on it and you know how to eat the food that is presented to you. So it exists out of any prescribed meal plan or diet. And that's beautiful because it means that if you're in Argentina on a vacation, if you're in London, if you're at your best friend's house, if you're at a wedding, no matter what happens, what food is presented to you, you know how to eat it so that your body is able to extract the most energy, is able to extract the most balance from it, as opposed to you get a structured meal plan and then when something is put in front of you that is not a part of that meal plan, then you freak out. Anxiety, cortisol, eating it in the wrong order, all of the things happen, and that has a negative effect. And so hunger cues are one of those signs your fertility is giving you, but it is very rarely interpreted as such. And so that's why I wanted to mention it in this video, because that is one that I never see. I see so many people flexing like, oh, I intermittent fast so easy. I get up and I'm not hungry. But it's like, yet here you are having super painful periods, cystic acne. You're not ovulating. You're having super heavy periods or very scanty periods. Yet you're trying to conceive through that, not understanding that that is pointing to an issue that needs to be resolved. When it comes to your fertility, it is about pillars. I always say that to people. There are pillars to good fertility, good blood sugar balance, all of that. The top pillar is blood sugar balance. Once you understand how and what to eat to balance your blood sugar, that will trickle down to every area. It is the top of the pyramid. You cannot work on your gut if you don't understand your blood sugar. You cannot work on your liver if you don't understand your blood sugar. And this is why when people say, I'm doing a liver detox or I'm doing a gut reboot, but they have mentioned nothing about blood sugar balance, it's like, well, it's not going to work. It's just not. Because if you have a metabolic factor like your blood sugar balance that is causing disarray in your body, your gut is not absorbing properly, it does not have the resources, and therefore your liver is not going to get what it needs in order to do phase 1 and phase 2 liver detox. And then your cortisol, your stress, your inflammation is going to be up. And so understanding that it's blood sugar, it's gut then it's liver, and stress and inflammation and cortisol, those are the beneficiaries of doing the work on those 3 pillars. One of my most amazing and well-loved and well-attended programs is the Blood Sugar Blueprint. It covers every single pillar: blood sugar, gut, liver, stress, inflammation, and cortisol to help you unlock your best fertility. In this program, people have released weight loss resistance because of PCOS, gotten pregnant with PCOS, started ovulating again, had their period return after like years or months of it being gone. And this is all because when you work on those areas, the byproduct is good energy, good sleep, good brain function, good immunity, and good fertility. Because all of the signs that we talked about today point to those areas. And when you work at improving those areas, that's when you will start to see the good signs of fertility present themselves. You will not have a good period if your skin is bad and you have eczema. You just won't. It will have problems. And if you fix those pillars, not only will your skin get better, but your fertility will also improve. So if you want information about the Blood Sugar Blueprint, comment or send me a message and we can go from there. But I want you to remember that trying to get pregnant despite and push through these issues and these signs and symptoms is only going to lead to challenge, heartbreak, disappointment, and you questioning if your body is able to do it. Instead, bring resolve and healing to those areas, boost those areas, and your fertility will respond in kind. Because here's the thing, the body is a holistic place. If you are having issues in one area, it is going to have an effect on all areas. The whole dealing with one thing in a vacuum, that is not how total body abundant fertility happens. It just isn't. And so understanding how to bring resolve and clear up your skin and resolve the gas, bloating, and constipation and to be hungry when you wake up in the morning, that is only going to have positive effects on your fertility. So if you like this video, please like it, please comment, please share. Always, as always, subscribe. I love having you here. I love sharing these videos. And I hope that you feel inspired, you feel hopeful, you feel like you have more knowledge in regards to what your fertility journey at this point needs to look like. Because a fertility journey doesn't just mean that you go to the clinic and you sign up for reproductive technology. It means that you understand what's going on in your body and you boost it so that it can do what it needs to do, whether you are doing IUI or IVF or whether you're just trying to conceive at home. So if you want to get and stay pregnant, I would love to help you. I'll see you next time.